8th standard maths part first, lesson number 2, parallel lines and transversals. And the first point is parallel lines. Now consider some lines. These are the two lines P and Q and meet at the point R. Therefore, these lines are called intersecting lines. Now consider another two lines. These two lines are M and N. Now let us see, if we extend these two lines, then these lines will intersect. Therefore, these lines also called intersecting lines. Now, draw two lines. Let these two lines are R and S. These two lines do not intersect with each other, and these two lines are in the same plane. Plane is a flat surface. This is a flat surface which extends infinitely, is called as a plane. These two lines are in this plane, and these two lines are not intersecting with each other. That is, distance between these two lines is same. Then these two lines are called parallel lines. So what is meant by parallel lines? The lines in the same plane do not intersect with each other are called parallel lines. Here line R is parallel to line S. So we write as symbolically line R parallel line S. Now the next point is transversal. Now consider two lines. This line is M and this line is N. Now consider the third line R. This third line intersects lines M and line N at the points A and B. These are the distinct points, that is different points. So R is a transversal of lines M and N, where M and N are also intersecting lines. These lines can intersect. Here we extend these lines in this direction. These lines will intersect each other, and line R intersects these two lines in two different points, that is two distinct points. Then line R is called as a transversal of lines M and N. Now consider two another lines. Suppose these lines are L and M. Now these lines are parallel to each other. These two lines are not intersecting lines. And we draw third line O. Now this line O intersects line L at point P and line M at point Q. So line O intersects the parallel lines L and M at two distinct points P and Q. Then line O is called as a transversal of lines L and M. Now consider two more lines. Suppose these lines are R and S, and one line intersects here. That line is a T, and that line intersects here at point A. This line T intersects line S and line R at point A, but not in two distinct points. It intersects at only one point, that is the 3 points S, R and T lines have one common point A. Then this line T is not transversal of lines S and R. So what is meant by transversal? If a line intersects given two lines in two distinct points, then that line is called as a transversal of two lines. If the line intersects given two lines in two distinct points, then that line is called as a transversal. And the given lines may be parallel to each other or may not be parallel to each other. Next point is corresponding angles. Now consider two lines. This is a line P and this is a line Q. And consider third line as a R. Now R intersects line P and line Q at two distinct points A and B. Here we get total number of 8 angles. At point A we get 4 angles. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4. Here we get angle 5, angle 6, angle 7, angle 8. At point A we get different pair of angles. Angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent angles. Similarly 2 and 3 are adjacent angles. 3 and 4, 4 and 1 are pair of adjacent angles. And angle 1 and angle 3 are the pairs of opposite angles. Angle 2, angle 4 are the pair of opposite angles. Similarly we get the pairs at point B also. Now what is meant by corresponding angles? Now consider angle 1. Angle 1 has its one arm on the transversal. Angle phi has also its one arm on the transversal, but in the same direction. Angle 1 have its other arm on the given line P, and angle phi has also its other arm on the line Q, but these arms are on the same side of this transversal. So such angles are called as a corresponding angles. So corresponding angles are on the same side of a transversal, that is towards the right side of the arc, and on the same side of the given lines. So angle 1 and angle phi are on the right side of transversal arc and also on the upward sides of P and Q. Therefore, this pair of angles 1 and phi is called as a corresponding angles. So, angle 1 and angle phi is a pair of corresponding angles. Similarly, this angle 2 and angle 6 are the angles which are on the same side of this transversal and also on the same side of the lines in downward side. So this pair is also angle 2 and angle 6. This pair is also corresponding angles pair. Similarly, we can find angle 4 and angle 8. This angle 4 and angle 8 is another pair, and this angle 3 and angle 7, angle 3 and angle 7 is one more pair. Therefore, we get there total 4 pair of corresponding angles. So, what is meant by the corresponding angles? If the arms of on the transversal of a pair of angles, if the arms on the transversal, every angle has a one arm on the transversal. Angle 1 has a this arm on the transversal. Angle phi has a this arm on the transversal, are in the same direction, and other arms are on the same side, and these two other arms are on the same side. Such angles are called as a corresponding angles. Now interior angles. Now consider two lines. This is line P and this is line Q, and this line is a transversal. R is a transversal of these two lines. Now name the angles. Angle 1, angle 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let us see these two angles, angle 2 and angle 3, angle 5, angle 2 and angle 5. These angles are on the same side of this transversal, on the right side of the transversal, and also inside the lines P and Q. Therefore, angle 2 and angle phi are called interior angles. Now consider angle 3 and angle 8. These angles are also on the same side of transversal, and in between the lines P and Q. Such angles are called interior angles. Therefore, angle 3 and angle 8 are interior angles. So the angles which are on the same side of transversal and inside the given lines, are called pair of interior angles. Now alternate angles. Consider two lines P and Q, and R is a transversal, and angles are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then this angle 3 and angle 5 are called alternate angles. Angle 3 and angle 5 are on the opposite side of transversal. This is transversal. Angle 3 is towards left of transversal and angle 5 is toward the right of transversal. So these two angles are on the opposite side of transversal and their arms on the transversal are in opposite direction. Angle 3 has this arm in this direction and angle 5 has this arm in this direction. Therefore their arms on the transversal are in opposite direction. The angles which are on the opposite side of the transversal and their arms on the transversal are in opposite direction are called alternate angles. So angle 3, there are two types of alternate angles. One is interior alternate angles. So angle 3 and angle 5 are interior alternate angles because these angles are inside the lines P and Q. Similarly, we can get another pair of interior angles as 2 and 8. So angles 2 and 8 are interior alternate angles which are on the opposite side of transversal and their arms on the transversal are in opposite direction. And number 2 is exterior alternate angles. Now this angle 1 and this angle 7 are called exterior alternate angles. Similarly, this angle 4 and angle 6 are also called exterior alternate angles. So what is meant by alternate angles? Pair of angles which are on the opposite side of transversal and their arms on the transversal are in opposite direction is called pair of alternate angles. Therefore, angle 3 and angle 5 are interior alternate angles. Angle 2 and angle 8 are also interior alternate angles. Angle 1 and angle 7 exterior alternate angles. Angle 4 and angle 6 are also exterior alternate angles. Now practice set 2.1. Question number 1. In the figure, each angle is shown by letter. Fill in the boxes with the help of figure. Corresponding angles. Angle P and box. This angle P and angle W, which are upward, these two lines, and toward the light of transversal. Therefore, here will be angle W. Angle Q and angle X. Angles on the upward of given lines and to the right of transversal, that is angle Q and angle X will be corresponding angles. Now angle R, this angle R, both the angles are R and Y below the line and to the right of transversal. Angle R and angle Y are corresponding angles. Angle S, this angle S and angle Z will be corresponding angles. Now alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles are angles between these two lines and on the opposite side of transversal, that is cross angles, S and X. These are alternate interior angles, and R and W. Now angle S and angle X are interior alternate angles. Angle W and angle R also interior alternate angles. Now question number 2. Observe the angles shown in the figure and write the following pair of angles: interior alternate angles, corresponding angles and interior angles. First is interior alternate angles. Interior alternate angles are in between given two lines and that cross angles, that is on the opposite side of transversal, that is the angle C and angle E, angle B and angle H. Therefore we have angle B and angle H, and number 2 is angle C and angle E are the interior alternate angles, that is cross angles. Angle C and angle E, angle B and angle H, angle B, angle H, angle C, angle E, corresponding angles. Corresponding angles: angle A, angle E, angle A and angle E, this is one pair. Second pair, angle B, angle F, angle B and angle F. Then angle D, number 3, angle D and angle H, and number 4 pair is angle C and angle G. Therefore angle A, angle E, angle B, angle F, angle D, angle H, angle C, angle G are the corresponding angles pairs. Now interior angles. Interior angles are angles on the opposite side of transversal and inside the two lines, that is angle B and angle E. Number 1, angle B and angle E, and number 2 is angle C, angle H, angle C and angle H are interior angles.